Hello and welcome back. I've been considering dabbling in ancients or historicals again after I sold off all my stuff several years ago. And this is what I got started with back. This was published in 1987. I think I got into this about 1988. These are from the Wargames research group. They're called, generally it's just called WRG 7. So this was the 7th edition. There's a 6th and previous editions. Pretty simple, old-fashioned type of book, half page folded over, very close type, no real pictures, one little quick reference sheet inside here. The Army books were actually published earlier. You can see this book 1 came from 1981, then we have a January of 82, November of 82. The Army books are based on the time period, so book 1 goes up to 75 AD, covering ancients, and you have this one that covers mostly the Dark Ages. And this one will cover, later medieval type stuff up to Renaissance. This one would cover the period of the Roman Empire and stuff like that. I think this one would cover Alexander and things like that. So one of the things that I thought was remarkable is how things changed from this, which was 3 books, to this, which came out in 95, and I apologize for the glare. This book is very glossy. This is DBA. So these were published in March 1995, and one of the things that's interesting, same company, Wargames Research Group. Look at the big first thing, simple, fast. Simple, fast. So this is kind of in my, I thought this would be a good illustration of how things have changed. But if you're designing rules, if you're a rules designer, you might want to take a look at some of these older versions and pick through them, because there's some gems in some of these things, and everything doesn't have to be simple, fast. Let's take a look at just the command control. There are some quirks to this game. I'm not kidding you. The combat system is kind of odd. That has a fatigue and a casualty component, and the fatigues can never be erased. If you're going to play this, just house rule that if your unit doesn't move it removes a fatigue. It uses an average dice, which is a dice that has 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. So there's not a lot of luck, I would say, in this. But the command control rules in here are probably the best that I've ever seen. So I'm just going to emphasize the command control rules here, and then the command control rules here. Simple, fast. And then you're going to say, wow. Let's look at the Army list, which I'm going to go to the very back of the book so I can just get this last list and then use the same thing. So last list here is Burgundian Ordnance. This is one of the ones that I looked through. You could take a commander, and then you can take sub-commanders up to 2 sub-commanders here. So right away your command control is going to be determined. Do you want one group that all has the same orders, or do you want to have 2 wings, or do you want to have 3 wings? Typically you would take 3 wings, because then you can give, it's not orders per se, it's kind of like an attack posture, an overriding. So you can have up to 3, and then each of your groups of figures has to be given a command. So there is a points penalty for buying lots and lots of little figures. It depends. If they are regulars, you can have up to 15 regulars at 10 points. And then irregulars at 25 points. So an irregular, such as a war band, will generally, it's not cost effective to take them in small groups because you're paying too much for the points for them. So you kind of get pushed into using larger groups because you have less commands for them. So here you can see, it goes through all different types of crossbowmen, knights, all different neurals and everything like that. And at the bottom there's a really nice explanation. So you get a nice page. This is your army list, and this is list number 180. I think that they go through, yeah, so it's 180 lists total. Many of them have early, middle, and late periods. So between these 3 books you got 180 lists. Really nice. Let's look at DBA. This book contains rules. It contains a campaign system. So the campaign rules are here. The rules end after page 9. Page 9, the rules end. So this has 9 whole pages of rules, which is okay because we want it to be simple and fast. But if you look at the army list, I'm going to go to the very back and look at the very last army list. So they have 180. Here we go. Burgundian Ordnance right here. It's 2 lines. 2 lines. You got the dates. You got armies that they could fight against historically. You get some references right there. You get 3 of this unit, and you have an option to take one or the other. You get 1 of this unit, 1 of this unit, 4 of that unit, 2 of that unit, 1 of that unit. All these armies have the same number of commands. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, each of these armies contains 12 stands, so there's not a lot of variation. But that's the depth of your army. Yeah, that's it. So that's your flavor right there. Okay, so I want to take a look at this. Cheat sheet right here. Let me see if I can get the main section of it. I just want to go into command control of this here. You generally give each of your commands. I hope you can't hear that 3D printer. You give each of your commands an order, and then, which is kind of like a stance. So over here you can see the basic list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 different possibilities here, right? Now, the generals are given a characteristic. The main general, the commander-in-chief, is not given a characteristic because that personality is the personality of the player, which is great. I hate a game that I'm forced to do the things. If I'm in a historical reenactment and the general of the force that I'm commanding was a blithering idiot, they will construct rules to make me behave like a big blithering idiot. The example would be, say for example, you're playing a Civil War game and your role is that of General Hood, and the rules require you to chug a 5th of whiskey and shoot up with morphine before the game. Well, that would be an authentic recreation of General Hood's behavior in many battles, but it would suck. So, but then your sub-commanders can either be rash, cautious, or unreliable, and you roll for them randomly, which I think is kind of neat because you don't know exactly how great they're going to be. Okay, so then you give each of your 3 commands. Say I got a left wing, center, and right wing. I give them each a posture, so to speak, like I'm going to attack on my right. And it tells you right in here, at least half the command must advance to visible enemy. They can charge, they can do all this other stuff. Rush. And you are restricted to this. If my command is to rush, I can't retreat and back up with that command unless I change that command's overall order. But within that, you have a range of things to do. Now, you can also, the commander can prompt the guys to do something that is defiances. So, for example, if you have a hold order, your commander might order a limited counterattack to restore a position or whatever, but then he has to personally initiate that. So you've got this beautiful system. Now you want to change the orders, and I want to go from attack. My attack's not going too well, so I'm going to change their order to hold, right? And I have to send a messenger. They check to see if there's a delay on how it gets there, and then I got to roll based on his personality. If he interprets it poorly, he can interpret it up a level or down a level. So I might give the guy a hold order and he decides, I'm thinking it's going to be whatever. So he can decide to go down the list if he's cautious. So you got this really interesting system of command control. It's just multi-layered, multifaceted, and it just works. It's 2 pages. It's not like you're reading the Encyclopedia Britannica, but it creates all of this nuance to the game. Let's take a look at this. This is modern gaming design in a freaking nutshell. Oh, tactical moves. What do we do? How do we do this? How do we do this? How do we move? You take, okay. Dice at the start of each bound. Then make a tactical move for each point scored. Okay, so this is it. That's it right there. Roll the dice. That's how many guys you move. Do whatever the hell you want to with them. Everything else is ignored. This is why modern games suck. Simple, fast. All right, that's my diatribe. And this game is long dead. No one will ever play it. But if you're the rules designer, you might want to pick it up. I mean, the army lists and stuff like that are just pretty cool. A lot of research went into them. I mean, they're even Wargames research group. I imagine it's some illustrious organization in England with guys wearing sweaters with elbow patches and everything, well versed in all kind of antiquities. At the British Museum of Natural History, they designed these. And I don't know what happened to them. Maybe they had a freaking aneurysm or something and decided to design this shit. But this is interesting. If you are looking for design some rules, there's some gems in here you can pick up. I mean, there's some quirks, but between 87 and 95, this is where we went. Now, I will say this. This rule set was much more financially successful. It was much more popular. It brought a lot of people into the game. There you have it. Best command control system I have ever seen in any game. Roll the dice. All right, that's my rant. Have a good day, everybody.